Please, just clean it. Make it right. You have to make it right. Something bad will happen. Something terrible.
The penthouse door swings open. Footsteps echo across the marble floor. Marcus Washington, a 38-year-old billionaire with sharp features and sharper eyes, stops dead in his bedroom doorway. On his white California king bed sits a young black woman. Her shoulders shake violently. She rocks back and forth, whispering to herself over and over again. Her hands press hard against her temples. Cleaning supplies scatter across the floor around her like abandoned weapons. Please, 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 just clean it, make it perfect. You have to make it right. If you don't make it right, something bad will happen, something terrible. But something is terribly wrong. Her eyes are squeezed shut. Tears stream down her face. She's gasping for air like she's drowning on dry land. She's not cleaning, she's breaking. And Marcus Washington, the man who owns half of Houston, who built an empire from nothing, who hasn't felt anything real in years, he cannot look away. This is the story of how a billionaire found a cleaner breaking down in his bedroom, but it's not the story you think it is. It's a story about what happens when two broken people collide. What happens when someone actually stops to help? What happens when you choose to save someone, even when saving them might save you first? Subscribe now and hit that notification bell. Your support is what keeps these stories going, and please don't forget to tell us where you are watching from. Zara Mitchell has been a professional cleaner for 6 years. She's not a cleaner because she loves cleaning. She's a cleaner because her brain is broken in a very specific way, and cleaning is the only job that tolerates how broken she is. Zara is 27 years old. She has dark brown skin, natural hair she wears in box braids, and tired eyes that have seen too much struggle. She's mixed race, her mother black, her father Latino, and both sides of her family gave her their stubborn genes and their mental health challenges. The OCD started when she was 18. At first, it seemed manageable. She'd organize her books by color. She'd count the stairs. She'd clean her room a certain number of times. It felt like a quirk, something unique about her. By 22, it had destroyed her life. OCD isn't just being neat. It's not about being organized or liking things clean. OCD is a monster that lives in your brain and whispers lies to you all day long. It tells you that if you don't do the ritual exactly right, someone will die. Your mother will get cancer. Your father will have a car accident. Someone you love will suffer, and it will be your fault. And because your brain is wired wrong, because the pathways that handle fear and anxiety are tangled and broken, you believe it. You have to do the ritual. You have no choice. Zara's rituals are cleaning rituals. She cleans until her hands bleed. She cleans in patterns of 5 or 10. She cannot leave a space until it feels right, and it almost never feels right. The number of times she's been fired for not being able to complete a shift is heartbreaking. The number of times she's had a panic attack at work because the cleaning didn't feel right is uncountable. But cleaning is also the only thing that makes sense to her. In a world where her mind is chaos, cleaning creates order. In a world where she can't control anything, cleaning lets her control something. So she became a professional cleaner. She started with residential homes. She cleaned apartments for wealthy people who didn't have time to clean their own spaces. She was good at it when her OCD was cooperative. She was a nightmare when it wasn't. 6 months ago, she started working for a cleaning company called Pristine Houston. The company specializes in cleaning high-end properties, penthouses, luxury homes, corporate offices. The pay is better. The work is steadier, but the pressure is also infinitely higher. One mistake, one spot missed, one bathroom not pristine enough, and you're fired. No second chances. No understanding about mental health. Just gone. Zara has kept this job for 6 months. It's a record. She's terrified every single day that today will be the day she messes up. That today will be the day her brain betrays her, and she can't do the rituals right, and she gets fired and loses her apartment and ends up on the streets. That's why she's so careful. That's why she takes every job seriously. That's why she's been assigned to the Marcus Washington penthouse today. Marcus Washington is famous in Houston, the billionaire tech CEO who built his company from nothing, who dates supermodels, who owns buildings and companies in half the city, who has everything anyone could ever want. Zara doesn't care about any of that. She only cares about one thing: his penthouse has to be absolutely perfect. Because if she messes this up, if she doesn't clean it right, she loses everything. Zara arrives at the building at 9 a.m. sharp on a Thursday morning. The penthouse is on the top floor. When the elevator opens and she steps into the space, her breath catches. It's enormous. White carpet, white couches, white walls. Everything is pristine and cold and beautiful in a way that makes her anxious. She can already feel the pressure building in her chest. This is a place where one wrong move, one missed speck of dust, and she's ruined everything. Her supervisor, Mr. Chen, walks her through the space quickly. "Mr. Washington is in New York today," Mr. Chen says. "He won't be back until tomorrow evening. You have until 5 p.m. to have everything spotless. The bedroom, the bathrooms, the kitchen, the living areas, everything. The pay is $200 if it's perfect, $0 if there's even one thing out of place." He says this last part while looking directly at Zara. It's a threat disguised as information. Zara nods. She's used to threats disguised as information. Mr. Chen leaves. Zara is alone in the penthouse. She stands in the living room and takes a breath. She pulls out her phone and opens her cleaning checklist app. She's made a detailed plan for this space. Kitchen first, guest bathrooms, master bedroom last, everything in fives, everything in tens, everything in perfect increments that her brain demands. She starts with the kitchen. The kitchen takes 3 hours. Not because the kitchen is that dirty. It's not. It's immaculate. But Zara's OCD doesn't care about reality. It cares about rituals. It cares about numbers. It cares about making sure everything is perfect in a way that only her broken brain understands. She wipes the counters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, then 10 times, then 15 times. The counters are already shining, but they don't feel right. The feeling is off. The energy is wrong. She moves to the cabinets. She opens each one and counts the dishes. 42 plates in the cabinet, 4 and 2 make 6. 6 is bad. Bad numbers cause bad things. She has to fix the numbers. She rearranges the dishes until there are 35 plates. 3 and 5 makes 8. 8 is neutral. 8 is okay. By noon, she's only finished the kitchen and one bathroom. She's running behind. Her heart is racing. Panic is building in her chest. Mr. Chen's words echo in her mind. $0 if there's even one thing out of place. She moves faster. The second bathroom. She counts the tiles. 60 tiles. 6 and 0 make 6 again. Bad number. She tries not to think about it, but she can't stop thinking about it. What if 6 means something terrible? What if Marcus Washington comes home and something bad happens because the tiles equal 6? She starts scrubbing the tiles harder, faster. Her hands hurt. She's been cleaning for 9 hours and she's only finished 2 bathrooms and the kitchen. The master bathroom is next. This bathroom is large. Italian marble, gold fixtures. Everything screams luxury and perfection. Everything also screams that if even one thing is out of place, she's failed. Zara's hands are shaking by the time she starts on this bathroom. She can feel the anxiety in her chest like a physical weight. She's not going to finish in time. She's going to fail. She's going to lose this job and lose her apartment and end up homeless, and it's all because her brain doesn't work right. She cleans frantically. Marble counters, gold fixtures, the shower, the toilet. Everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be absolutely pristine. 4 hours pass. The bathroom is immaculate, but Zara is falling apart. Her heart is pounding. Her breathing is shallow. She's had 2 panic attacks already, and it's only 4 p.m. The master bedroom is the only room left, and she has 1 hour to clean it. 1 hour. She's not going to make it. Zara enters the master bedroom at 4:15 p.m. The bedroom is beautiful. The bed is enormous. There are windows that look out over the entire city. There's a photo on the nightstand. A young black woman with warm eyes and a gentle smile. She looks strong, like someone who could handle anything. Zara feels something break inside her just looking at that photo. She starts cleaning. The bed, the windows, the mirrors, the floors. She's moving on autopilot now. Her mind is not present. Her mind is somewhere dark and panicked and terrified. She's not going to finish. She knows she's not going to finish. And when Mr. Chen comes tomorrow and sees that the bedroom isn't perfect, he's going to fire her. And when she's fired, she's going to lose everything. And when she loses everything, she's going to have nothing left. Zara sits on the bed, just for a moment to breathe. But sitting on the bed is a mistake. Sitting on the bed breaks the ritual. Now the bed is contaminated by her sitting on it. Now she has to clean it again. Now everything is ruined. The panic attack hits her like a wave. Her shoulders start shaking. Her breathing becomes shallow and rapid. She can't catch her breath. She can't think. She can't do anything except feel the terror washing over her. Please, 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 she whispers. Just clean it, make it right. You have to make it right. If you don't make it right, something bad will happen, something terrible. She rocks back and forth on the bed. She pulls her hair. She digs her nails into her palms. The cleaning supplies scatter around her like she's abandoned them, like she's given up. She has given up. Zara Mitchell, age 27, professional cleaner, is breaking down on a billionaire's bed at 4:47 p.m. on a Thursday afternoon. She's crying so hard she can barely breathe. She's rocking like a child. She's whispering to herself like a person who's lost their mind. Because she thinks she has. She thinks this is it. This is the moment where everything falls apart. This is the moment where her brain finally wins and she loses everything. The elevator opens at 4:53 p.m. Marcus Washington steps into his penthouse, his mood foul. The New York meeting didn't go as planned. A major investor pulled out. A contract fell through. He wasted a day flying across the country for nothing. He's not happy about being home early. He wanted to stay away longer. He wanted to avoid the emptiness of this space for at least one more night. But he's here now. He hears the sound before he sees anything. A sound that makes him stop in his tracks. A sound that breaks through the walls he's built around his heart. Crying, someone is crying in his bedroom. Marcus follows the sound. His first instinct is to call security. Someone has broken in. Someone is stealing from him. He should call the police. But then he reaches the bedroom door and he sees her. A young black woman sitting on his bed, completely falling apart. She's alone. She's not stealing anything. She's just breaking. And something about that moment, something about seeing another human being in that much pain, makes Marcus Washington, the billionaire, the CEO, the man who hasn't felt anything real in years, feel something crack open in his chest. He steps inside. "Are you okay?" he asks quietly. Zara's head snaps up. Her eyes go wide with terror. She sees him and her entire body goes rigid. "I'm so sorry," she gasps. "I'm so sorry. I wasn't supposed to sit on the bed. I was cleaning. I was just cleaning and I sat down and I ruined everything and I'm so sorry." She tries to stand up but her legs don't work. She's shaking too hard. She's falling apart too completely. Marcus sees what's happening. This isn't a criminal. This is someone in mental health crisis. This is someone who needs help, not judgment. "It's okay," he says gently. "Just breathe. Can you breathe with me?" Zara tries to breathe, but she can't. The panic is too big. It's consuming everything. "In for 4 counts," Marcus says, moving closer. "Hold for 4, out for 4. Can you do that with me?" Zara manages to follow his instructions. In, hold, out. In, hold, out. After 5 cycles, her breathing starts to slow. After 10 cycles, the panic attack starts to release its grip. "What's your name?" Marcus asks. "Zara," she whispers. "Okay, Zara, I'm Marcus. This is my penthouse. You're not in trouble. Can you tell me what happened?" Zara looks at his face. She expects to see anger. She expects to see judgment. Instead, she sees something unexpected. She sees compassion. She sees someone who's actually looking at her, actually seeing her, actually caring. So she tells him. She tells him about the OCD, about the rituals, about how her brain doesn't work right, about how she tried so hard to clean his penthouse perfectly but her mind wouldn't let her, about how the numbers kept being wrong and the rituals wouldn't stop and she just broke. She cries as she talks, actual tears pouring down her face. She's mortified, she's terrified, she's convinced she's just lost her job and her apartment and her entire life. When she's finished talking, Marcus is quiet for a moment. Then he does something that surprises her. He sits down on the bed next to her. "Thank you for trusting me enough to tell me that," he says. "That took courage." "I'm sorry," Zara says again. "I'll leave. I'll go right now. I'm so sorry." "You're not going anywhere," Marcus says firmly. "And you're not fired. This bedroom is fine. You did good work. What happened here is not a failure. It's a health crisis. And health crises are not something you lose your job over." Zara stares at him. "What?" "You heard me," Marcus says. "You're a good cleaner. I can see that. But you're also someone who's struggling. And I'm not the kind of person who punishes people for struggling." He stands up. "What's your supervisor's name?" "Mr. Chen," Zara says. "Okay," Marcus says. "I'm going to call him right now. I'm going to tell him that you did excellent work, that this penthouse is beautiful because of you, and that if he fires you for any reason, I'm pulling all of my cleaning contracts from his company. Understood?" Zara nods slowly. This is not happening. This is some kind of dream, some kind of stress-induced hallucination. But it's happening. Marcus calls Mr. Chen. He tells him exactly what he said he would tell him. He hangs up. He turns back to Zara. "You're going to sit here for a few minutes," Marcus says. "You're going to drink some water, and then we're going to talk about what comes next. Okay?" Zara nods. She has no idea what comes next. She has no idea that this moment, this breakdown on a billionaire's bed, is going to change her entire life. She has no idea that Marcus Washington is about to offer her something that will save her. But she's about to find out. Zara doesn't sleep. She sits in her tiny studio apartment, in her tiny studio bed, staring at the wall. She replays the conversation with Marcus Washington over and over in her head. She tries to convince herself it was real, that a billionaire CEO actually sat on his bed with her and helped her through a panic attack, that he actually called her supervisor and protected her job. But it feels like a dream, like something her anxious brain made up to comfort her. Around 3 a.m., she gets an email on her phone. The subject line reads, "From Marcus Washington." Her heart stops. The email is short and professional. "Zara, I wanted to follow up with you after today. I believe you're a talented cleaner, and more importantly, I believe you're someone worth investing in. I'd like to meet with you on Monday at my office to discuss an opportunity. I'm sending a car to pick you up at 10 a.m. Please don't refuse. The position I'm offering could change your life. Best, Marcus." Zara reads the email 17 times. She counts the words. 103 words. 103. 1 plus 3 equals 4. 4 is neutral. It's not a bad sign. It could be okay. She doesn't sleep the rest of the night. The car arrives at 9:45 a.m. sharp. It's a black Mercedes with a leather interior and a driver who doesn't ask questions. Zara sits in the back seat, her leg bouncing with anxiety. She's never been in a car this expensive. She's never been anywhere this expensive except the penthouse. She's wearing her best outfit, black pants, a white blouse, her hair freshly braided. She's trying to look professional. She's trying to look like someone who deserves an opportunity from a billionaire. The office building makes her neck hurt looking up at it. All glass and steel and modern design. The kind of building that announces power to the entire world. The security guard in the lobby doesn't question her. A name on a list apparently grants access to everything. The elevator ride to the top floor takes 90 seconds that feel like 90 minutes. When the doors open, She steps into an office that looks like something from a movie. Marcus is waiting for her. He's dressed in an expensive suit. He looks powerful and controlled and nothing like the man who sat on his bed with her 3 days ago. But when he sees her, his face softens slightly. "Zara, thank you for coming," he says, extending his hand. She shakes it. His grip is firm but not cold, professional but not unfriendly. "Come with me," he says. He leads her to his office. The view is incredible. The entire city of Houston sprawled beneath them like a kingdom. Zara has never been this high up in a building before. Marcus closes the office door. It's just the two of them now. "I want to tell you something," Marcus says, sitting behind his desk. "Something that will explain why I'm offering you what I'm about to offer you." Zara sits down carefully. She's nervous. She's not sure what to expect. Marcus leans back in his chair. "I lost my mother when I was 19, he says. "She was sick, cancer. The whole thing happened very fast. One day she had back pain. The next day she was in the hospital. 6 months later she was gone." He pauses. His voice doesn't crack, but Zara can see something shift in his face. Pain, old pain that hasn't healed. "Before she died, she had these episodes," Marcus continues. "Anxiety attacks, panic attacks. She would spiral into this dark place where she couldn't think straight. She would count things. She would organize things obsessively. She would apologize for being broken." He looks directly at Zara. "I think she had OCD. I think she had anxiety disorder. I think she was struggling with her mental health and nobody helped her. Nobody sat with her and said, 'This is not your fault. This is not a failure. You're sick and you deserve help.'" Marcus stands up and walks to the window. "I built this company to make money. I built this empire to prove something, to show the world that the poor kid from a single-parent household could make it. But somewhere along the way, the money stopped feeling real. The success stopped feeling good. And all I could think about was my mother. All I could think about was how I couldn't save her." He turns back to Zara. "Then you broke down in my bedroom, and I saw my mother in you. Not literally, but I saw someone who's fighting a battle in their own mind. Someone who deserves help. Someone who deserves more than what the world has given her." Zara feels tears building, but she pushes them down. "I'm offering you a job," Marcus says. "A real job, not as a cleaner, as my personal assistant. The salary is $80,000 a year plus full health insurance, including mental health coverage. You would work here in this office, Monday through Friday, and you would have access to therapy with one of the best mental health professionals in Houston. She specializes in OCD and anxiety. Her name is Dr. Patricia Solomon." Zara's world tilts. $80,000, insurance, therapy with a specialist, everything she's been praying for falling out of the sky like it's nothing. "I don't understand," she whispers. "You don't have to understand right now," Marcus says, "but I need 3 things from you." He walks back to his desk. "First, you don't tell anyone where you work. I don't want tabloid journalists harassing you. I don't want your private business becoming public knowledge. You keep this quiet for your own protection. Clear?" Zara nods. "Second, you're serious about treatment. You go to therapy every week. You take medication if Dr. Solomon recommends it. You actually try to get better. Not because I'm telling you to, but because you deserve to feel better. Clear?" Another nod. "Third," Marcus pauses and Zara sees something flicker across his face, something that looks like fear. "You never ask me why I'm doing this. You accept it. You work hard. You build your life. But you don't dig into my motivations. You don't ask about my mother or my grief or any of that. Can you do that?" This condition feels heavy. It feels like there's something underneath it, something Marcus isn't saying. "Yes," Zara says anyway. "Good," Marcus says. "When can you start?" Zara thinks about Mr. Chen, about the cleaning company, about giving notice. "You can start immediately," Marcus says. "I'll handle your previous employer. You don't need to worry about that. Your only job now is to show up Monday morning at 9 a.m. and start building a better life. Can you do that?" Zara nods. She's in shock. She feels like she's floating outside her body. Also, Marcus adds, the company has a relocation benefit for new employees. It includes first month's rent and a deposit. Dr. Solomon will help you find a new apartment, one that's safe, one that's yours. Zara feels tears spilling over now. She can't stop them. She doesn't want to. Why, she asks, why would you do this? Marcus walks to the window and looks out at the city. Because yesterday I saw myself, he says. Not literally, but close enough. I saw someone who was drowning. Someone everyone else had already written off as broken. Someone worth saving, even though the world didn't think so. He turns back to her. My mother used to say that every person who comes into your life is there for a reason. Sometimes we're supposed to help them. Sometimes they're supposed to help us. I don't know which this is yet, but I know I couldn't just pretend that breakdown didn't happen. Zara feels something shift in her heart. It's small, but it's there. It's hope, real hope. The next 8 weeks change Zara's life in ways she never thought possible. She works for Marcus from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Her job is straightforward, organizing his schedule, managing emails, handling calls, keeping his life running smoothly. She's good at it. She's very good at it. The organizational part of her brain, usually a curse, becomes an asset. But more importantly, she starts seeing Dr. Solomon twice a week. Dr. Solomon is different from any therapist Zara has ever met. She's gentle but honest. She doesn't pretend the OCD will go away. She teaches Zara tools, cognitive behavioral therapy, exposure and response prevention, mindfulness techniques. She prescribes medication that actually helps. Slowly, very slowly, Zara starts to feel less like a person drowning and more like a person swimming. She finds a new apartment, not fancy but safe and clean, a one-bedroom in a normal neighborhood. She moves in on a Friday after work. The apartment is empty except for furniture she buys from a thrift store. It's hers. She did this. She made this happen. The first night she sleeps in her new apartment, she cries, but not from sadness, from relief. At work, she develops a routine with Marcus. He arrives at 8:30 a.m. She has his coffee ready, black, 2 sugars. He's already in a meeting before 9 a.m. most days. She manages the chaos of his schedule like it's a military operation. What surprises her is that Marcus is different than she expected. He's not cold. He's focused, yes. Intense, definitely. But he's also funny. He makes jokes that shouldn't make her laugh but do. He remembers small things she mentions and follows up on them. How was your therapy session yesterday? He'll ask, dropping it casually while signing documents. How's the new apartment treating you? He asks another time. He never presses, he never crosses the line into invasiveness, but he notices, he sees her. No one has ever seen Zara before. Around week 6, something happens that changes the dynamic between them. Zara arrives at work to find Marcus in a conference room with 5 board members. They're all serious and focused, discussing something about market expansion. Zara sits at her desk outside the conference room, taking notes as instructed, feeling like an outsider in a world of money and business that she doesn't understand. But then something goes wrong. One of the board members, a man named Richard Castellano, makes a comment. It's small, barely noticeable. He asks Marcus a question about a contract, and when Marcus answers, Richard smiles and says, "Well, of course the former street kid wouldn't understand corporate contracts. That's why you have these." He gestures vaguely toward Zara and the other assistants, people to help you. The room goes quiet. Zara feels her face burn. She stares at her computer screen, pretending she didn't hear, pretending her heart isn't breaking a little bit. Then Marcus's voice comes from inside the conference room. "I'm going to say this once," Marcus says, his voice so cold it sounds dangerous. "I grew up poor. My father wasn't in my life. My mother worked her ass off to keep me alive. That made me hungrier than anyone in this room. Hungrier and smarter and more willing to risk everything. So you can keep your contempt about where I came from, and you can keep your contempt about the people I work with." He stands up. Zara has a photographic memory. She streamlined our entire Q3 process last month, saving the company $400,000. She does the work of 3 people with half the attitude, and she deserves your respect." He looks directly at Richard. "You're fired from this company, effective immediately. I own 52% of this company. That's enough to remove you from the board and terminate your contract." There's a beat of stunned silence. Then the other board members start gathering their things. The meeting is over. When everyone leaves, Zara is staring at her computer screen. Her hands are shaking. Marcus just defended her. Marcus just fired someone for disrespecting her. She doesn't know what to do with that. Later that afternoon, Marcus appears at her desk. "You okay?" he asks. Zara nods, not trusting her voice. "What he said was wrong," Marcus says firmly. "And what you're doing here matters. Don't let anyone make you feel small. You're not small, you're extraordinary." He walks back to his office before Zara can respond. That night she calls Dr. Solomon. "He defended me today," Zara tells her therapist. "My boss defended me, and I don't know what that means." "How did it make you feel?" Dr. Solomon asks. "Safe," Zara says. "It made me feel safe." 2 weeks after the board meeting, Zara's life changes again. She arrives at work on a Tuesday morning to find police cars surrounding the office building. News vans are parked on the street. Security is everywhere. Something terrible has happened. Zara's heart jumps into her throat. She pushes through the crowd, flashing her employee ID, desperate to get inside. She finds James, the office manager, standing outside Marcus's office with a shaken expression. "What happened?" Zara demands. "His car," James says, his voice shaking. "He was in an accident this morning on the way to the office. The other driver ran a red light, T-boned him. They took him to the hospital." Zara doesn't remember getting to her car, doesn't remember driving to the hospital, doesn't remember pushing through the emergency room doors and demanding to know where Marcus Washington is. But she does it all anyway. She finds him on the 3rd floor. He's in intensive care. The door to his private room is guarded by security. One of them recognizes her and lets her through. Marcus is awake, thank God, but he's in bad shape. Bruised, bandaged, his left arm in a cast. There are monitors tracking his heart rate and oxygen levels. He looks small in the hospital bed, vulnerable, human in a way she's never seen before. When he sees Zara, something shifts in his face. "You shouldn't be here," he says weakly. "Neither should you," Zara responds, her voice shaking. "What happened?" "Car accident," Marcus says. "Other driver ran a red light. Doctors say I'm lucky. Could have been much worse." Zara walks to the window. She needs air. She needs space. She needs to process the fact that the one person who's changed her life could have died today. "The doctors are keeping me for observation," Marcus says. "Should be out in a couple days." "You need someone to help you," Zara says, still facing the window. "James has already offered to." "I'm going to stay," Zara says, turning back to him. "Until you're better, I'm going to help you." "Zara, you helped me when I was breaking in your bedroom," Zara says. "You sat with me, you protected me, you changed my life. Let me help you now, please." Marcus looks at her, really looks at her. For a moment the carefully controlled CEO disappears. What's left is a man, just a man, vulnerable and tired and maybe, just maybe, willing to let someone in. "Okay," he says quietly. Zara pulls a chair next to his bed and sits down. She doesn't leave. Not that night, not when he falls asleep, not when the nurses come to check on him. She stays. She watches him sleep. She thinks about how fragile life is, how quickly everything can change, how a person can go from being invisible to being everything. Around 3 a.m., she does something crazy. She reaches out and gently holds his uninjured hand. He doesn't wake up, but his fingers curl slightly, like he's holding on to her too. Marcus is hurt. Zara is staying by his side. But what neither of them knows is that this accident is about to force a confession that will change everything. Marcus is about to tell Zara the whole truth about his mother, about his grief, about why he really saved her. And Zara is going to realize something terrifying. She's fallen in love with her boss. Zara barely leaves Marcus's side for 2 days. She brings him soup from the cafeteria. She helps him walk the halls for physical therapy. She reads him text messages when he can't hold his phone properly. She sits with him through the nights when he can't sleep because of the pain. The hospital staff starts to recognize her. They stop asking if she's family. They just let her through. On the second night, around 2 a.m., Marcus wakes from medication-induced sleep. He sees Zara asleep in the chair next to his bed. Her head is tilted at an uncomfortable angle. Her hair has fallen across her face. She looks exhausted and beautiful and like someone who actually cares about him. Marcus realizes something in that moment. Something that's been building for weeks, but he's been refusing to acknowledge. He's in love with her. The thought terrifies him. He promised himself 3 months ago that he would not let this happen. He promised himself that helping her was about his mother, about fixing his past, about saving someone so he could feel less guilty about not being able to save the person he loved most in the world. But somewhere along the way, it stopped being about his mother. It started being about Zara, about knowing her, about spending weeks watching her get better, watching her believe in herself, watching her laugh at his jokes and be nervous around him and check on him like she actually cares. She does care. He can see it in the way she looks at him. He can see it in the way she rushed to the hospital without being called. He can see it in the way she's been holding his hand. But he can't act on it. He won't. She's his employee. She's vulnerable. She's just getting better. Starting something between them would be taking advantage of a power dynamic that's broken. When Zara wakes up the next morning, Marcus has made a decision. He's going to create distance. He's going to protect both of them by being professional, by being her boss and nothing else. But when she smiles at him, tired and genuine, that decision falls apart. The hospital releases Marcus after 48 hours of observation. He has 3 broken ribs, a fractured arm, and a collection of bruises that make him look like someone threw him down a flight of stairs. The doctors say he's lucky. 1 inch to the left and the car would have hit him directly. They use the word miraculous. Marcus doesn't feel lucky. He feels complicated. He feels like his body is screaming at him to make a choice he's been avoiding. Zara drives him home in a hospital-provided car service. She helps him up the stairs to his penthouse. She helps him get settled on his couch. She's playing the role of helpful employee perfectly. She's being professional. She's keeping distance. Marcus hates it. "You should go home," he says when she's making sure he has water and medication within reach. "Get some real sleep. I'm fine now." "I'm staying," Zara says simply. "I'm going to turn the guest room into my temporary space. I'll be here if you need anything at night." Marcus wants to argue, but he's too tired. And part of him, the selfish part, is relieved. That night, Zara cooks dinner. She helps him eat because his arm is in a cast. She assists with physical therapy exercises. She's basically his personal caretaker, except she won't let him pay her extra. "This is what people do for people they care about," she said firmly when he tried to offer additional compensation. The words, "people they care about," have been running through his head for hours like a song stuck on repeat. On the 3rd day of recovery, Marcus is sitting on the couch when Zara brings him medication and water. His pain is still significant, but it's manageable. He's been thinking about what to do. He can't keep pretending. He can't keep watching her and not saying something. Especially not after yesterday, when he woke from a pain medication-induced nap to find her asleep in the chair next to him, her hand resting on his blanket. "Zara," he says as she hands him the pills, "can you sit with me?" She sits, he takes the pills. "I need to tell you something," Marcus says, "and I need you to let me finish before you respond. Can you do that?" Zara nods, but he can see anxiety flash across her face. She's probably thinking he's firing her, or that this whole arrangement was temporary. "The day you broke down in my bedroom," Marcus begins, "the day you had the panic attack while cleaning, I wasn't supposed to be home. I had a meeting in New York, but the meeting got canceled. I came home for the first time in months and I found you." He pauses. "I need to tell you why that matters. I need to tell you about what happened to me that morning, before you came." "I was in a dark place," Marcus says. "My therapist had just told me things I didn't want to hear. She said I was using money to run away from feelings. She said I was self-sabotaging. She said I was emotionally unavailable. And instead of listening, I fired her. I told her to get out of my life." Marcus looks at his hands. "My therapist was right, but I didn't want to hear it. So I came home early. I was going to sit in my penthouse and be angry. I was going to sit in the dark and feel sorry for myself because I'm a billionaire who has everything except the thing that matters, actual peace." He shifts position, wincing at the pain in his ribs. "When I found you crying on my bed, something in me broke open," Marcus says. "Your pain was so real, so honest. It wasn't strategic. It wasn't designed to impress anyone. It just was. You were real." He looks at her directly. "And I realized I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to be real with someone. I knew how to be impressive, how to be powerful, how to be successful, but actual realness, actual vulnerability, I had no idea." "So you gave me a job because you felt sorry for me?" Zara asks quietly. "No," Marcus says. "I gave you a job because I was tired of being alone. I was tired of pretending that success was enough. And I looked at you and I saw someone real. Someone worth knowing, someone who needed help and who I could actually help." He pauses. "But there's more, something I haven't told you, the real reason I'm doing this." Zara's entire body goes still. "When I was 17, Marcus says, my mom got sick, cancer. The whole thing happened so fast. One day she had back pain, the next day she was being admitted to MD Anderson. Within 8 months she was gone." Marcus's voice doesn't change, but his hands clench into fists. "The worst part wasn't the cancer," Marcus continues. "The worst part was watching her disappear before she physically died. She had these episodes, panic attacks, anxiety spirals, obsessive thoughts. She would apologize for being broken. She would cry because she felt like a burden. She would try to do things and then have to stop because her mind wouldn't let her do them." He breathes carefully, trying not to disturb his broken ribs. "The doctors told me later it was probably brain changes from the cancer medication. But at the time I didn't know. I just knew my mom was suffering and I couldn't help her. I was 17 and I didn't know what to do, so I just sat with her. I held her hand. I told her she wasn't broken. I told her she was brave." Marcus looks at Zara. "But it wasn't enough. Nothing I did was enough to save her. She died anyway." Zara feels tears building, but she doesn't stop Marcus. "After she died, I promised myself I would never let someone I love suffer like that again," Marcus says. "I would fix everything. I would be so successful, so powerful that nothing could touch me or anyone I cared about." He leans back on the couch. "But that's impossible. You can't control suffering. You can't fix everything. You can only be present for people when they're going through it. You can only sit with them. You can only tell them they're not broken. You can only believe in them." Marcus looks at Zara. "When I saw you crying in my bedroom, I saw my mom, not literally, but I saw that same look of desperation, that same look of a person who's fighting a battle in their own mind. And I realized something. I realized I couldn't save my mother, but maybe, just maybe, I could help you. Not to ease my guilt, but because you're worth helping. Because you're real and broken and beautiful and you deserve someone to fight for you." Tears are streaming down Zara's face now. "So I got you a therapist," Marcus says. "I got you a job. I gave you the tools I wished someone had given my mother, but somewhere along the way it stopped being about fixing my past. It started being about you, about knowing you, about..." He stops himself. "About what?" Zara whispers. Marcus looks at her for a long moment. "About falling in love with you," he says quietly. "About spending weeks watching you get better, watching you laugh, watching you believe in yourself again. About realizing that you're not just someone I helped. You're someone I want in my life. Even though I know that's complicated. Even though I know there's a power dynamic that's messy. Even though I know I should have kept this professional. Zara is crying full tears now. She doesn't say anything. She just stands up and walks to the window. Marcus's heart sinks. He said too much. He scared her away. He's ruined everything by being honest. But then Zara turns back and she's looking at him with an intensity that makes his breath catch. I need to tell you something too, Zara says. She sits back down and when she speaks, her voice is steady. I found the donation receipt, she says. The one you made to the mental health charity in your mother's name. I wasn't trying to. It fell out of your drawer when I was organizing your desk. And when I saw it, I understood why you were helping me. I understood that it wasn't really about me. It was about her. Zara wipes her face. And for a few days I was confused about that, Zara continues. I thought, he's just using me to feel better about his mom. This whole thing is about his grief, not about me. But then I went to therapy and I talked to Dr. Solomon about it, and she said something that changed everything. Zara leans forward. She said that people can help us for complicated reasons and that still be real. That grief and compassion and love don't have to be simple to be genuine. And I realized I was doing the same thing you do. I was making everything about me. What does Marcus want? What does Marcus need? What does this mean for me? She takes a breath. But real connection isn't like that. Real connection is messy and complicated and has multiple truths at the same time. She looks directly at him. So yes, I think part of you was grieving your mother when you helped me, but I also think you saw me. The real me. Not the broken down cleaner having a panic attack. The actual person. And that person matters to you. She does, Marcus says. And I've been falling for you too, Zara continues, her voice shaking. Badly, irresponsibly, completely against my better judgment. Because you're my boss and the power dynamic is weird and I'm in a vulnerable place mentally, and all of that is true and complicated and messy. She takes another breath. But it's also true that nobody has ever made me feel seen the way you do. Nobody has ever believed in me like you do. Nobody has ever sat with me through my worst moments and said, you're not broken, you're brave. And that means something. I need you to know that it means something. Marcus reaches out and takes her hand. Okay, he says, so where do we go from here? I don't know, Zara admits. We have to figure out the work stuff first. I can't keep being your personal assistant if we're dating, Marcus suggests. Dating, Zara agrees. It's not appropriate. The power dynamic is too messy. I could find another job. Maybe work at the nonprofit you mentioned setting up. We could. Or, Marcus says slowly, there's another option. I've been thinking about this. The nonprofit division, mental health services, therapy access for people who can't afford it, advocacy work, community support. He squeezes her hand. I need someone to help run that division. Someone who understands mental health from the inside. Someone who can build programs that actually help people. Someone like you, Zara. Zara's eyes widen. Marcus, I don't have the qualifications for. Not yet, he says. But you could get them. I'd pay for your education. You could work part-time at the nonprofit while you go to school. Get your bachelor's degree in social work or psychology. Build your skills. Then we build this together. You would do that, Zara asks. I would do a lot of things for you, Marcus says. Starting with paying for education that you've earned. Starting with creating a career path that's yours, not mine. Zara stands up and walks to the window. She needs to think. She needs to make sure this is real and not some fever dream brought on by medication and trauma. But it feels real. It feels right. She turns back to Marcus. We go slowly, she says. We don't tell people at work for a while. We're careful. And if it doesn't work, we don't let it destroy the nonprofit mission. That has to be bigger than us. Agreed, Marcus says. And I keep going to therapy with Dr. Solomon. Independently. Not just to get better for you, but for me. Because my mental health is my responsibility, not yours. Agreed, Marcus says again. And you have to promise that you're not doing this because of your mom. that you're doing it because you actually want a future with me. Not a replacement for her, not a way to fix your past, but because you want me. Marcus pulls her toward him carefully, avoiding his injured side. Zara, he says, looking directly into her eyes, I did this initially because of my mom, that's true, but the person I want a future with is you. Not because you remind me of her, because you're you, because you make me laugh, because you make me want to be better, because you're the first real thing I've connected with in my entire life. He kisses her. It's gentle, careful, aware of his injuries, but it's also honest. It tastes like truth. It tastes like healing. It tastes like two broken people choosing to be brave together. When they break apart, Zara is crying again. I'm a mess, she says. So am I, Marcus responds. Let's be a mess together. 1 year later. The nonprofit, Marcus Washington Mental Health Initiatives, officially launches on a Tuesday in downtown Houston. The office is beautiful but welcoming. Soft colors, comfortable seating, private therapy rooms, a waiting area with tea and coffee and magazines. This isn't a clinical space. It's a sanctuary. Zara, now enrolled full-time in a bachelor's program in social work at the University of Houston, works 4 days a week as the director of community outreach. She and Marcus have already helped 500 people access therapy they couldn't afford before. The board includes therapists, community leaders, and, surprisingly, one ex-billionaire named Marcus Washington, who is learning that helping people doesn't have the same rush as making money, but it's infinitely more satisfying. They kept their relationship quiet for exactly 2 months before someone saw them kissing in the parking garage. The headline in the Houston Chronicle read, Billionaire tech CEO in secret romance with employee and launches major nonprofit. But the second headline, buried beneath the scandal, said something else. Mental health initiative serves 500 people in first year. People cared more about the nonprofit than the romance. That's how you know you're doing something right. On launch day, Zara stands in the hallway of the office and looks at a photo on the wall. It's Marcus's mother, Sandra Washington, with a quote beneath it. Mental health is not a luxury. It's a foundation. Build strong foundations and people will build strong lives. Marcus comes up beside Zara and takes her hand. Hi, he says simply. Hi, she responds. Are you okay? You look tired. I had a bad OCD day yesterday, Zara admits. I did the counting rituals 7 times. I had 2 panic attacks. I almost didn't come today. But you came anyway, Marcus says. I came anyway, Zara confirms. Because I'm getting better, not fixed, but better, and better is honest. Marcus squeezes her hand. Dr. Solomon just texted me, he says. She wants you to know that 6 of her patients are specifically asking to work with the nonprofit. They heard about what we're doing and they want to be part of the mission. Zara smiles. It's a real smile. The kind that used to scare her because it meant hope, and hope felt dangerous. Not anymore. 2 years later. Zara Mitchell graduates from her social work degree with a 4 GPA. She's standing in graduation robes surrounded by her classmates, holding her diploma, feeling like a person who actually made it. In the crowd, Marcus is taking photos. Dr. Solomon is cheering. Mrs. Patterson, whose grandchild is now 3 years old, is crying happy tears. Washington Mental Health Initiatives has expanded to serve 3,000 people across the Houston metro area. Zara helped design a specialized program for adults with OCD. The program has a 9-month wait list. The nonprofit doesn't make money. That wasn't the point. The point was healing, community, real human connection. Marcus stepped back from his tech company to focus on the nonprofit. His board of directors was horrified at first. You're throwing away billions, they said. Marcus told them the truth. Billions don't mean anything if you're alone. Billions don't mean anything if the people you're helping don't believe they're worth helping. This is what matters now. He's not alone anymore. Zara and Marcus aren't married. They're not planning to be soon, but they're building a life together, a real one, with complications and challenges and days where her OCD flares up and days where his grief about his mother resurfaces. But they face it together. The last scene of this story is simple. Zara is sitting in the nonprofit office, not in the penthouse anymore, not as his personal assistant, but as the director of a program that changes lives every single day. She's organizing files for a new therapy group. Marcus is reviewing applications from people who want to be part of the nonprofit. They're working, they're building something, they're healing. And it all started because a billionaire walked into his bedroom and found a cleaner breaking down. But here's the thing that matters most. She wasn't broken, she was struggling, she was fighting, she was barely holding on. And someone saw that and said, "Let me help you become who you're supposed to be." That's love, that's real love. Moral of this story. This story isn't about a billionaire saving a poor cleaner. That's a fantasy, a fairy tale. This story is about two damaged people choosing to be honest with each other. It's about Marcus admitting that his success meant nothing without connection. It's about Zara recognizing that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's courage. It's about a cleaner with OCD who broke down while doing her job and discovered that breaking can be a beginning. The real lesson is this: we're all struggling. Every single person you meet is carrying something invisible. Some days are better than others. Some days you're functioning. Some days you're crying while cleaning someone else's bedroom. The question isn't how to avoid breaking. You can't. Breaking is part of being human. The question is, when you break, will you let someone else help you rebuild? And more importantly, will you have the courage to be the person who helps someone else do the same? That's where real strength comes from. Not from billions of dollars, not from achievements and status and power. From connection, from seeing another person, from saying you matter, you're worth saving, let me help. If you're struggling right now, with mental health, with money, with feeling like you're not good enough, know this: you're not broken, you're not beyond help, you're just in a moment that feels impossible. But moments change, stories change, people change. You can too. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Comment down below and tell us, have you ever had a moment where someone believed in you when you didn't believe in yourself? Subscribe to this channel for more stories about real people, real struggles, and real transformation. We upload new stories every week. Thank you for watching, thank you for caring, and thank you for being here. Until next time, take care of yourself. Your mental health is the best investment you'll ever make.